All right, so we're back from Battle of the All-Star 2018. I'm Chad of New England Roller Derby Report. I'll be joined here shortly by Banshee from down in Massachusetts. We've worked together, and you've probably heard us before if you are a fan of the broadcast and you've listened to us. We're here for Team Maine versus Team Massachusetts again. I think this is probably this is game number 5 between these two teams. The last few contests have gone the way of Team Maine. Incredibly close games every single time. We'll see what happens today. We're going to get underway. Banshee just putting on her headset. She's joining us.
Hello there.
Our first jam has begun. Oh, no, it hasn't begun. We're still practicing.
Yes, this is Team Maine.
I'm looking out there and I'm like, wow, there's too many Maine players out on the track.
There's a lot of neon mixed in.
Yeah,
so
there's
that's
a lot
how
of
we
neon.
knew.
So I was just talking about Team Maine versus Team Massachusetts.
Yes.
You know, at first it was a really funny joke how close things were all the time between these two teams. And now it's just, you know, I don't know. It's not as funny anymore.
It's really not.
Yeah, no,
But I love, one thing I have to say, though, is that there's a great deal of camaraderie between Team Maine and Team Mass.
They love each other.
They do.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the most friendly matchups that you will see here at Battle of the All-Stars 2018 because of the close proximity in states. They do travel to scrimmage each other several times during the season, and they constantly push each other to do better.
And you know they've played together so many times and in so many different scenarios. You know, New England's not all that big.
No.
There's not a lot of surprises between these two teams either. You know, they kind of know each other. Like, for instance, you might take somebody like Lammy from Massachusetts, who comes in and is a real shocker to another team. But like Maine expects and knows what they're going to get with Lammy or Flying King, for instance.
Correct. Yep.
You know, and vice versa. Massachusetts knows what they're going to get when they run into a Maine wall.
Oh yes, yes they do. They know they're going to run into Assassin, amongst many others who are incredibly clutch. Now, as far as each team too, they have a veteran core.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of fluctuation in their roster, you know, throughout the last few years.
Yeah, looking on the Maine side, the last couple of games, the last couple of seasons rather, the big change that we have between then and now really is in the jammer rotation. We have not as many of the all-star jammers that are coming back, so we have some new jammers making names for themselves. Ultimately, on the defensive side, though, Maine has looked very similar and defensively working very well. Yesterday, Maine was able to hold back significantly when they played against Wisconsin. Now we're going to get underway for reals.
Yeah, for reals, starting things off. That is the Laminator, also known as Don't Lam Me Down from Team Mass with the star. But that is Hard Dash taking the lead for Team Maine. If you are just joining us, Team Maine is in white. Team Mass is in blue.
This is going to be a hit-it-and-quit-it situation for Dash. She knows she's going to get one. She runs in hard, almost picked up a back block if there had been any more action there. 1-1. Lammy really turned on the Jets coming around here in turn 1 and turn 2 and really impressively made up the distance and kept that as a neutral point gain.
Absolutely, and just to point out again that camaraderie, you saw Pena Colida from Team Mass in an embrace with number 7, Roby.
On the outside, there was all kinds of room, and there's 2-2-1.
Yeti or not, here she comes. No, here I come. That's part of her name. But up against Meow for Team Maine. Coming around the outside, Yeti is swept to the outfield right before turn 2, heading for the infield, calls it off right before Meow hits the pack.
So 3 for Massachusetts.
So right now we are at 4 points Team Mass, 1 Team Maine. We are a minute and a half into what is proving to be an extremely closely matched game.
Something I noticed in that last jam is Massachusetts did a really good job breaking apart that strong Maine defense. Crazy Nest get pulled off to the inside, and you know that put together just a 3-wall, and
no simple task.
No simple task.
Hardcore, part of the Division II champions of the WFTDA Boston Roller Derby's Massacre, leads to Team Mass. It appears a star stash has occurred with Wiley.
Yeah, Wiley held on to the star, ducked through. There's going to be 4 and a call off. Massachusetts coming out incredibly strong today.
Yes, and a couple of changes in the roster today, because we know that with a tournament that starts on a Thursday, it can be a challenge to have everyone here immediately. We were short a few skaters on Team Mass, but today we have Aubrey Planets, who is taking the track as a blocker, joining, as well as Flying King, who is jamming.
You'll see on your overlay, Massachusetts is represented by blue. I'm not sure if they didn't know how to spell Massachusetts or what.
Blue.
Blue.
Mass is blue. The lead, actually that is Peaches and Creamia jamming for Team Mass. Sweetie also here today, wasn't yesterday, part of that firm defense of Crewley at Lewis
now,
up front.
With the star in her hand is going to be Peroxide, muscling her way into this wonderfully braced Massachusetts, putting together just a phenomenal defense there around the corner. They looked absolutely phenomenal.
And it was a big hit from Sweetie, taking Peroxide to the midway of turns 1 and 2. Peroxide shouldering it out. 5 points up for Team Mass.
Peroxide, her home team is Casco Bay
Yes.
Roller Derby, and they are a MRDA team.
A breakout jam right now for Team Massachusetts. Still 45 seconds.
I'm going to say a team I get to enjoy quite often, because
Yeah.
they tend to play Mass
They
Maelstrom a great deal.
They do play the Maelstrom quite often.
Okay, add 5 for Peaches and Creamia.
Huge jam for Massachusetts. Peroxide not yet through her initial pass.
Pack slowing before turn 4. We have that tripod from a Team Mass just putting the brakes on Peroxide, just toiling away at that wall. And in the back of the pack, the Team Maine defense doing their best to take away any momentum for Peaches and Creamia. Aubrey Planets getting right in the middle, working to break up the Team Maine defense. That went the full 2 minutes. Fruitful for Team Mass, a whopping 20 points. Highest scoring jam thus far, bringing Team Mass to 28 to Maine's 1.
I see Lammy coming out with a star now for Massachusetts. This is this chance right now for Maine. They've taken a timeout, which makes total sense, because you do not want to come back out here with your head not in the game.
No.
You've just gone down a whole pile of points to the opposition, and now you're going to face Lammy. And if you don't come out here with your head on straight, Lammy's going to absolutely run roughshod over you.
Looks like coach is giving them a nice little pep talk. Sometimes just go step back, take a deep breath, and then get back out and reset. And just want to point out, too, our upcoming blocker lineup. We're going to have Team Mass's captain out there, Kelly Cooper, joined by pivot Bella LeBral and Malice Paul.
Oh, now Massachusetts is Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Well, hey, you can only fit so many characters. All they know is hashtag everywhere else sucks, or at least that's what they like to say. They have shirts with that on there. There were shirts and stickers at one point. I never got one. It's too bad. I don't believe that, but, you know, it's home.
Maine will be sending Meowenham down to the line. Meow was very successful yesterday, came away with the MVP for Maine. But Rami picks up the lead jammer position on the inside. Meow almost through, now she is. Quick bump, but she's able to recover. Lammy with lots of time.
Both lines regrouping, but very quickly calls it off.
Yeah, she'll pick up, looks like 2.
Great pressure by Maine on that jam. Yeah, holding the back wall very tightly. Maine All-Stars.
Wiley with the star for Maine.
Ready to jam for Maine.
Oh, facing off against Yeti or not. Here it comes. And keeping it very clean, we have a nice empty penalty box at current. And with the abbreviated games, in case you were not aware, the 30-minute games, the maximum number of penalties you can accrue before fouling out is 4. Yeti fighting it out, shouldering, getting right around that last Team Maine blocker with a little spin on the apex. Lead to Team Mass.
We have a toe stop that's just come off.
I thought I saw something bounce out.
Yeah, usually it must be a gumball. I think that might have come from Yeti's skate.
It's all right. Yeti's making it work. Wiley driven back into turn 1.
No, Yeti does have 2 stops.
Back up against that main triangle up front there.
Pag putting the brakes on in at the end of that straightaway at turn 3. Making
Crux of turn 2.
making the Team Maine jammer really have to work for every cubic centimeter or inch of track, whatever measurement you like. We've been referring to metrics because of Saskatchewan in the house.
Massachusetts defensively just looking perfect today.
Yes, and we have several members of Team Mass who have played together for a long time, mainly the core that's from Boston Roller Derby. Ooh, one-footed on the outside coming up that straightaway. Yeti adds 5 more to the Massachusetts tally.
In favor of Maine.
It's a pivot on pivot aggressive strike. We have Sweetie right on, I believe that is Head of Flame.
That's Head of Flame.
Head of
She
Flame
has the
with,
star in her hand.
yeah, with Team Maine. They're trying to keep that pass from being successful.
And doing a great job at it. Maine not able to make any space there whatsoever. Massachusetts looks glued together today.
Aubrey Planets with the hip on Head of Flame, taking her to the infield in the turn 1 apex. Looking, unfortunately, a little tired, but I know there was some pretty hard hits and pressure put there.
This is only anecdotal evidence, but I do believe that this is the biggest lead that Massachusetts has had on Maine in recent memory. I do not think I think going back to the very first game I streamed for them out of the Boston.
Oh, out of the warehouse.
Out of the warehouse, yeah. Even those games were pretty tight.
Fort Independence, yes.
Yes, Fort Independence.
Pag staying behind the pivot line at current. That is 88. Hardcore picking up a lead, but right behind her, I do believe that is Hard Dash. Pag putting on the brakes right before turn 3.
So Dash will pick up 1 or 2 points there. 2 and 2.
Heading into Jam 8, we have just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half of the game. And
I see Assassin taking the pivot stripe.
Ooh,
that's a little bit different than we've seen. We'll see if they.
Chad, I'm so curious.
Yeah, they may try something here. If Meow is not able to break through the pack, you might see a quick star pass to Assassin, who's a bit of a bulldozer.
Okay, Flying King tiptoeing their way through, but not enough to beat Meow out of the pack, but hot on Meow's heels. King wasting no time.
King and Meow. Meow won't have much time. Gonna have to just call it off. Flying King too fast to try to do anything. And,
too fast, too furious.
Too fast, too furious, and Meow's points were too far up. She was coming up against her own wall, and good call off.
While it's still the first period, another first-time jammer of the contest for Massachusetts.
In the pack for Team Mass, that is Sweet Enemy wearing the pivot stripe, joined by Agent Malders, Stone Cold Killa, and in Raging Grace, I believe 3-4-1.
No penalties being served 4-on-4.
So we've got Oxidizer for Maine with the pivot stripe. That's another slight change in pivot for Maine. So that's 2 jams in a row where we've not seen Head of Flame out here, who typically has that that pivot strike.
We'll see what they have planned for her. But it is Cosmo Kramer wearing the star for Team Mouse, picking up lead, facing off against Wiley, who has just chosen to stash the star as she fights against a painful duo of Sweetie and Stone Cold Killer. We have a little bit of a switcheroo in the penalty box. We have one down for each team.
Wiley through Oxidizer, almost taking a late hit on that. It looked like from here she might have kind of pulled up at the last minute and not making the contact.
And Cosmo Kramer, one of the newer additions to Team Massachusetts, hailing from Western Mass Roller Derby.
To the outside, nice block by number 9, T-Rex.
Team Maine with the drawback on Cosmo Kramer between turns 3 and 4.
Gonna hold her to, I believe, 9 points for that jam.
Cosmo Kramer, but the Cosmo's gonna go eat some of that Kenny Rogers chicken now. She got 9 points.
I don't know what they're talking about on the house mic, but talking about Kenny Rogers chicken?
Kenny Rogers chicken, that is a reference to Seinfeld when a Kenny Rogers chicken opened up outside of Kramer's apartment.
Oh, because of Cosmo Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to forget some of those Seinfeld references. Thank you for the reminder.
Hey, no problem. That is what I'm here for this weekend.
Thank you, Chad. Amongst other things, New England Roller Derby Report, of course, bringing us fantastic live footage all weekend, and that is the Laminator. Don't Lay Me Down out there pushing the pack out to the front in turn 2, up against Hard Dash,
a big drawback by Assassin.
A back block call, so power jam in favor of Team Massachusetts. It's getting a little wild in the middle of the pack.
Maine is a little spread out there, and they left all kinds of big pockets open, and for Lammy, that's all she needs. She could probably have used half of that.
Lammy only needs an inch. Most jammers only need an inch at this particular level. But when you have a force such as Aubrey Planets out there, she is going to take the opportunity to just get right in the middle and blow things up.
Lammy is going to ice Dash in the box. Great track awareness by Lammy to be way over on the opposite end of the track. Know how much time was probably left on that penalty. She called it off.
Okay, we have pack advantage for Team Massachusetts, seeing how they are lining up to the in and outside lines for the power start, which has been handed off to Yeti or Not. Here I come.
Nice D by Maine.
Yeah, that was
Dash enters the track.
Yeti is just relentless, pushing Maine's blockers all the way up the inside line to turn 1.
Maine going on the offensive with a little time there for Dash.
Team Mass had the drawback, bringing her back behind the pivot line, able to get her caught up in the mix, but Dash coming around. Cooper not able to hold her past the turn 2 apex, but enough for Yeti. Oh, and a cut on the track penalty drawn by Team Mass on Hard Dash.
That is two for Dash.
That is 2 out of 4. Yeti taking advantage of an easily accessible inside line, 5 in the sky. Currently 10 points in this jam for Yeti. Pack is mid straightaway there, back stretch.
Yeti pushing the front of the pack now, held strong.
Dash coming back on the track, star in her hand. We'll see if she makes the handoff. I suspect they'll try first to try to get that star out of her hand, lest she go back in the box with it again.
Kelly Cooper doing everything possible to take away Hard Dash's space and prevent the pass, although she's right next to her pivot. We'll see what happens here. Yeti fighting it out, getting back into the back stretch, coming up, leaning toward the inside line, though being forced middle. And the call off, it was time. We're heading into Jam 12, which actually, no, we're not, because this is the very brief half. 14 points for Yeti or Not. 79 Team Massachusetts, 3 points Maine. This could be Team Mass's year.
You know what? I think this is Team Mass's year. I'll tell you, I am absolutely surprised at how strong Massachusetts is today, and I'm thrilled and excited to see how strong this team is.
Yeah, it's really hard to contain myself, and I have to get into professional mode when we get on the broadcast. Sure. I'm not going to lie. I am thoroughly excited, not just for Team Massachusetts, but I'm announcing at Boston Roller Derby this season, and it's great because this is a preview in some ways on what I'm going to see.
Season.
Well, there's actually, if you look at their roster, Malice Hall, actually, of my former league, Mass Attack Roller Derby, recently transferred to Boston Roller Derby.
Okay.
Had a few changes, and there are a couple of Mass Attack skaters in the mix with the Western Mass and Boston skaters. It's a great representation of what our state can offer in roller derby, and clearly we know the skill level in Maine, and yes, Team Maine insane, and I adore them, so.
I think Maine also a little surprised. We'll see in the second half if they're able to find something that they can change, or do they try to stick with their game. Sometimes there's that temptation to stay with what I know. Meow picks up a track cut.
Yep, it ended up being Agent Mulder and Juliet Lewis pulling the cuts on Meow. Lead in favor of Flying King. It's great to see them back out on the track. Oh.
Don't panic.
It says don't panic. So you'll notice, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there are certain names on the back of the jerseys that are like little nicknames.
Right.
So Lammy, she's changed her name almost every season to keep up with but Lammy is still in it. So her jersey says the Laminator, but her name on the roster is Don't Lay Me Down. Pena Colada, that's her derby name, but on the jersey it says Ouch.
Oh,
that's
nice.
one of my favorites.
Nice.
I think it's fun. But back to Flying King, putting 5 more up for Team Mass, a total of 10 so far. Juliet Lewis off to the penalty box for Team Mass.
I've not seen Massachusetts in the box very often today, too, playing incredibly clean.
It's a great thing to see. I mean, generally speaking, today we've had games that have been closely matched, far more closely matched than yesterday, because getting into the real meat and potatoes of the tournament. Meow back at it. Let's see if she grabbed any points. 1 for Team Maine.
15-point jam.
So 93-4, 14-1 on that in favor of Team Massachusetts. We are 1 minute 45 into the second half.
Peaches and Creamia ready to jam for Massachusetts. Wiley gonna wear the star for the Maine All-Star.
Okay, so pack advantage for Team Maine. The 3 blockers out for Team Mass. That would be Stone Cold Killa along with Bella LeBral.
Wiley gets a free pass in the back of that pack, but Mass right there to meet her. Now Peaches.
Peroxide and Assassin working very well together to contain Peaches.
Callie Burr and Bella LeBral doing what they can to hold Wiley, but Wiley's
free.
Spots that open inside line.
It's the first lead jammer designation for Maine, I think, since maybe the second jam.
I do believe so.
Yeah, it's been very one-sided.
Massachusetts has been able to really beat them down on the lead percentage.
Around the outside, she's edged out by number 45.
Team Maine's blockers regrouping. A big hit from Head of Flame, taking out Peaches and Creamia, who has stashed the star.
Peaches still on her initial pass attempt. Wiley still struggling here. She can only take so much time as the clock is quickly winding down. So Maine may want to, I think in this position what I would do is drop back, try to make a pocket for Wiley, get through for the 4, and maybe have to just call it just to end the time. You've only got 24 seconds left on this jam.
Wiley calls it.
Calls it at 3.
3 points for Team Maine, bringing them to 7.
2 long jams start off the second half. Timeout being called here.
So it looks like Maine is going to use an official review.
Official review.
I believe it's going to be used by Maine.
Might have been on
We'll
point.
get an update on that for you. Bring it to you at home. And here at Battle of the All-Stars 2018, we are in day 2. Make sure you stick around because we have all sorts of action-packed derby coming up. Next, we have Louisiana versus Tennessee around 11:25, followed by West Virginia versus Kentucky at 12:20. At 1:15, North Carolina versus Kansas. Maine will be back
Interesting strategy.
at
11 minutes,
2:20
9.
versus Team Sass, a.k.a. Saskatchewan. And New York and Virginia after that, and many other games to follow. I think we've got another 4 after that, or 5 even. So we have a full day for you. The last 2 games of the day will be slightly longer. I believe they're going to a 45-minute game for the very last 2 today. Hard dash in white up against Lammy on the jammer line.
I think it's it looks like Bergeron with the star.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dash has the pivot.
Oh, I saw her right in front of her. We're starting out with a full complement of blockers.
Just over 11 minutes left to play as the whistle blows.
Bryce sliding into the pack. Lammy wriggling her way through.
Peroxide and Assassin lining up again to take on Lammy. Great work by Peroxide, pushing her out, bringing her back. We'll have a star pass by Lammy, or at least a star stash.
Assassin with the hit on the apex of turn 1, driving Lammy back, able to trap Lammy until she passes to her pivot. That is number 26, Reckless Rehab. Rehab able to surpass Peroxide and Assassin.
Bergeron has picked up, I think, probably 3 points at this stage in the game.
Skating out of bounds call on Reckless Rehab, so that means a power jam for Spry.
So Assassin trying to make some room on the back stretch, coming around turn 3 and turn 4 now. Bergeron tied up and shoving Bergeron out. Maine trying to hold back to stretch the pack out. I think Bergeron's going to call it and freeze our jammer. So not a bad call. She was pretty gassed at that point.
So that 5-point jam for Team Maine brings them to 12 to Massachusetts 93. We have 9 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the game. It appears an official review has been called.
Yeah, I wonder, so it's got to be Massachusetts calling that.
It
I don't know.
appears to be...
5 points awarded to Spry Bergeron.
Definitely
Yes,
according
it is
to our,
Team
yeah.
Massachusetts. I'm sorry. There was some hand... I was looking at hand signals.
Oh,
Nothing's
scoreboard.
perfect. I apologize.
If they're looking at anything, I wonder if they're looking at the penalty called or if it was the amount of points scored by Maine. Not amount of points scored by Maine. In this case, I actually think it's probably the penalty.
The skating out of bounds penalty
Yeah.
on Rehab.
I think they're going to look at that.
We can get some details on that and let you guys know.
Bruised Boutique and Sisu.
And we'll have MVPs for you in about 9
But while we wait, just a reminder, thanks for joining us here on the New England Roller Derby Report, aka Nerd Derby. The live feed continues all weekend from Battle of the All-Stars 2018, brought to you by Bucksmont Roller Derby Dolls here at Inline 309 in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. And each game is archived pretty immediately, right?
Yeah, it usually takes probably, I think it's available within 15 or 20 minutes of the game ending.
Now that's convenience. I'll get the update from our alt-ref.
Penalty on their jammer to be rescinded, and after consultation, the call will stand.
Okay, and you may have heard from Gretchen the Axe and Mochismo on the house mic that they were seeking the call against reckless rehab to be overturned for the skating out of bounds. However, it was not. The call stands. They do lose their official review.
So Meow, with the power start, takes advantage of that, has the lead jammer designation, standing in the box now, star in her hand. There's reckless. Meow scoring now. She's scoring right Meow.
Right about Meow. But not if if Yeti, Sweetie, and Agent Mulder have anything to say about it.
And the star is going to go back into the box. Reckless picks up a back block. So there's 5 for Meow and him down with a little bit more time to work.
I want to go back in the archive after this game to see, or any Team Maine game that's on broadcast this weekend, and count how many times Meow is mentioned. I really would, because I think it would be funny. And yes, I am a child, and my sense of humor is very much Super Troopers when they insert the word meow into the conversation as many times as possible.
So Meow picked up 4 more and called it off, so we're going to freeze the jammer again for Massachusetts.
Oh, a total of 9 there for Meow and him down.
So Wiley will have the star for Maine. And Mass also has a pivot in the box as well.
That is Yeti or Not, Here I Come. So
Maine,
leaving.
we're picking up a quick lead jammer with a Bounty, giving Wiley a shove through.
We have a trio of power towers out there for Team Massachusetts. That's Pena Colada, Malice Paul, and Enraging Grace. Yeti is back at it with a vengeance.
Yeti has the star in her hand. Shoved out by Assassin, but did she get her in all the way?
Cutting the track penalty assessed to Yeti, so leaving a power jam in favor of Wiley and Team Maine.
So Assassin with a phenomenal, just enough of a shove out onto the infield, and then scooted back in and stood up in order to draw that track cut. So Maine picks up 4 and will call it off. And for the 3rd jam in a row, ice a jammer in the box.
Consistent small gains can equal success. So that appears to be what Team Maine is working with right now.
So Bergeron with the star. Looks like Maine setting up to set up an opening on the inside. But we've had a timeout called, so that's going to
for Team Massachusetts.
I can see the point of doing that. Well, that's going to pause the clock at just under 7 minutes left. 25 to 93 as Maine has put together.
We await heading into Jam 6. We'll also if you have not joined us until today, we have quite the treat after each game. We have post-game interviews with the MVP of each team. So it's nice, you get to learn a little bit more about the skaters you're watching here all weekend.
A little bit and get your heads back in the game.
Well played game though. The one thing that's great about this particular contest is everybody on the track knows each other.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. These teams play
I'm
each
so
other all the
excited,
time.
Chad. I was looking at the Team Maine list. Every year, the league name that I always look forward to is a Roostic.
a Roostic.
And I know how to say it correctly because you taught me.
Roostic,
A Roostic.
Up in the county.
Bounty.
Bounty from the
Bounty
county.
from the county.
She splits time between a Roostic roller derby.
Yes.
She's also been playing with Les Duchesses from Quebec.
Oh, very nice. So you're getting lots of experience in practice. Okay.
And putting a lot of miles on her poor automobile.
Most definitely. Back at it, we have Spry Bergeron up against a trio of Team Mass blockers.
And the big wall of Maine rushing in to try to break that up
Yes.
for Bergeron. And they make some room, but maybe not quite enough. Bergeron shoved down. She looks up at the ref to see if it's clean or not. She's through. Spry is our lead jammer. That was a tough lead jam to get. So we'll see if she goes for more than the 4. Yeti's through. So I think Spry's through. She's got 4 at that point. Yeah, quick call off by Spry. Massachusetts, I'm sure, is going to enjoy having a jammer on the line at the beginning of this next jam.
Oh, yes, they've missed that.
They've probably missed that.
Yes. So it's time. They've got a little catching up to do. Granted, they have a lead right now. Oh, it appears Caliber off to the penalty box, joining Bella LeBral. It was a destruction of pack penalty. So they are starting pack advantage to Team Maine because the pivot and an additional blocker in the box.
Though Maine has had some wonderful opportunities here with power starts, they've taken advantage to a degree, but only picked up 4 points at a time.
Only, but they're using it conservatively.
That's true.
Yeah, but who knows, is that enough?
Yeah, and at this point with 5 minutes left, I would question whether it's enough, because really what Maine needs at this point is
3 20-point jams.
They really need.
I mean, we're just looking at the numbers.
It feels a little too late in the game. Massachusetts just did such a wonderful job, even with those opportunities going to Maine. They did such a great job at just holding Maine back. You know, that was almost 3 penalty kills in a row.
Maine control on the top of that pack. Hardcore looking for an exit.
Hardcore fighting strong against the Maine defense. Meanwhile, we have Aubrey Planets with the drawback on our main jammer, Wiley.
Well, Assassin missing, and then Peroxide missing.
Lead for the first time in, what, 5 jams?
I think so,
Maybe just about 5 jams now. Going to Hardcore. One of our favorite names to say. I can't help it. Most of the time I shut off the Massachusetts when I'm on broadcast, but that one, I'll allow it.
So there's 5 for Massachusetts.
Fully staffed. Assassin wants to play against Hardcore, but Planet weaseling her way in. As there was a very little space. 5 points up, taking Team Massachusetts over the 100-point mark. We are currently 10 points in this jam, keeping Maine at 0 points.
They've been slowed down on that point scoring quite a bit.
3:26 left on the clock. Massachusetts now adding insult to injury. And Hardcore
Faking into Donovan and Assassin and jetting and juking to the right, keeping it safe side.
Well, Massachusetts with
Planets with a hip, taking Wiley out between turns 1 and 2. Assassin with the drawback on Hardcore. Preloading the call off, and that's your jam. Appears there was a star pass ahead of Flame.
It looks like it.
16 points for Team Massachusetts, 110-32. Just under 2 minutes, 40 seconds remain.
We'll see Bergeron again. We've not seen Dash in a while. She had picked up 2 penalties early, and maybe holding her back until a little bit less time is on the clock. She's halfway there to the foul out. I don't think she would.
Team Maine setting their defense in the tripod, and it appears Bergeron able to take advantage of an open inside line. Lead in her favor. Even Raging Grace with
Assassin
the drawback.
lining up 2. She's able to move out and roll back. Assassin's been there all day today.
Oh, Peaches and, I apologize, I saw Peaches and Cremia. Didn't realize she had the star stashed.
Assassin coming up to run some offense.
Peaches and Cremia taken to the infield, coming back into midway of that back stretch.
That's 5 points for Bergeron. She's smiling, she's happy, but boy, I think she...
Yeah, but Team Maine's pivot, hard dash, putting in work against Peaches and Cremia. This time, Peaches able to stay in bounds. Mohawks around the last line of Maine defense. The hat is back on the helmet.
And there's a call off on the backstretch after picking up, might have picked up 5 more points.
A total of 9 for Team Maine, bringing their score, 10 for Team Maine. 42 Maine, 110 Massachusetts. We are under a minute left.
We'll have one final jam.
On a back block right at the end of that jam, so it's going to be a 4-3 pack
Okay,
advantage
43
for
pack,
Massachusetts.
Team Mass, as we have one blocker in the box for Team Maine.
Looks like Raptor.
Cosmo Kramer getting back at it for Team Mass, that blue star.
A lot of really physical blocking in this game, Gretchen.
Meow with 3. Breeze headed to the box. Meow is free and is our lead jammer.
Cosmo Kramer stashing the star, fighting Team Maine's defense, who wasn't giving her an inch to work with. They knew the best thing to do, take away the space. Meow coming back around, fighting Sweetie and Crew.
Bounty with the bump.
The jammer picker-upper.
Meow him down working against Crulia Lewis.
Team Maine's defense coming together as a cube, dropping to the tripod. Dynamic 3-wall.
Yeah, holding together pretty tight.
Taking away the speed of Cosmo Kramer. Being so thoroughly effective. I think I'm hearing some Team Maine insane. Or perhaps some Team Mass everywhere else sucks. I don't know. It's loud noises.
It almost sounded like they were chanting Cosmo.
Oh! Okay, I can hear it a little bit better now. Yeah.
Bill, Cosmo, butt up.
Up and running, putting 4 points up. Oh, that's 5.
And she was able to take off.
We have one more Team Maine blocker off to the box.
And we're down to our final 15 seconds of play. Game clock has run out. And Meow is somewhere in that pack.
We have a multiplayer block called on Juliet Lewis.
Claws her way through and picks up 4. But that's it.
Our unofficial final.
Massachusetts takes the win, 115 to 46.
And we will have your MVPs for you shortly.
Yeah.
Chad, it's Massachusetts year.
This is the year for Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Interesting second half there.
I want more from Maine. I can't wait till later. I'm really looking forward to the game that they have later. I believe that they're playing against Saskatchewan.
They're playing Saskatchewan at 2:30 this afternoon. That should be a pretty close game.
Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be great.
We'll see what happens. So we're going to go mute here while we talk about who we're going to pick for MVP. We'll be right back.
Thanks again.
All right, Assassin, thanks for joining me over here. I'm going to present you with the Most Valuable Player Award for your job here against Team Massachusetts. So congratulations. You can take that home and you can frame that. So Team Maine, Team Massachusetts, we keep talking about this storied this challenge between both teams. Tell me about today's game. Was it a little bit of a surprise? Did Massachusetts bring anything different today's game?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's always been so close and so tight, and they're always such a joy to play. I think they've really stepped it up this year. They definitely had some more Boston players, but always the classics. I mean, you have your Western Mass girls as well, who always bring like so much, like Rami or the Laminator this year. I don't know, it changes every year. Yeah, and Bella, like they're all so good. Caliber, all of them. So it's just a step up, and it's awesome to see the progression of the team.
So next up for you is Team Saskatchewan. Have you had a chance to watch Saskatchewan play?
Yes, yeah, we watched them against Massachusetts, and we streamed the game against Michigan last night. And I don't think it's going to be a pushover team at all. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm really excited to play my Canadian brethren. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go hang out with your team. I know you guys have some post-game chats that you're going to have.
Yes.
Anything you want to say to folks at home?
Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting Team Maine Insane. Woo!
All right. We're going to come back here with the MVPs for Team Massachusetts in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Beautiful Banshee here with the New England Roller Derby Report. And I am with Team Massachusetts, most valuable player of the Team Mass versus Team Maine game. Yet or not, here I come. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, well, you know, it was a pleasure to watch. Definitely earned the MVP. And, you know, lots of points today, lots of big hits. It's amazing. So which league are you affiliated with?
So I've been skating with Boston since June. They were really nice and welcoming and let me tag along for Team Mass.
Okay, awesome, at Boston Roller Derby. Other than that, what would you say your favorite animal is?
Ooh, a Wolverine, for sure. I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I like the X-Men Wolverine and then the real world Wolverine, too.
Oh, okay. So both aggressive, awesome, and big claws. Okay, I like where this is going. Okay, let's see, another quick one. How long have you been skating?
I started skating in October 2015.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, you know, within a few years, and you're making quite the impression here at Battle of the All-Stars 2018. And thank you again for joining me. It's been a blast.
For having me.
All right, good luck. Take care.
Bye.